Welcome to the Brave Home Service Pro podcast, where we're all about helping blue-collar business owners like you to unlock your inner business beast. I'm your host, Lee Miller, a seasoned home service and construction industry veteran turned business coach. In this podcast, I'll teach you how to break free from your own limitations, gain the knowledge, tools, and mindset to succeed, and guide you as you trailblaze your way to the top of your industry. My system is simple: set bold goals and take brave action to achieve them. Together, we'll build your business into its full potential. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and join our Facebook group for more tips and tricks to boost your business using the link in the show notes. Now let's dive into the Brave Home Service Pro podcast. Your journey to business greatness begins right here. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Brave Home Service Pro podcast. And we've got a pretty fun episode here for you today. We're going to talk all about how to diversify your revenue streams, which is something that's super important for businesses that are very seasonal, like painters, plumbers, electricians, people who rely on being outside for part of the year to do some of their work. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at how you as a contractor can actually break down the ways that you're making money and create additional revenue streams that pay you year-round, that take the pressure off of your cash flow and give you an opportunity to keep investing in your business even when you're in the slow season. So let's dive in, guys. I want you to look around the world that we live in now. Look at the services that you pay for. And you're going to start to notice that almost every single service that you buy, from your insurance to your bank account to the way you watch TV with things like Netflix, the way that you listen to music with Spotify, everything is on a subscription service now. Everybody, almost everybody is on a subscription service apart from contractors. We're definitely one of the last ones to show up and adopt this system. However, that does not mean that we can't. There are lots of opportunities for us as contractors to actually develop these monthly recurring revenue models in our business. And today I'm going to unpack some of the most common that we're seeing that really work in the industry. And we're also going to teach you some tips and some tactics on how you yourself can adopt some of these systems and implement them into your business. So these, let's dismantle what happened here, because in order for us to move forward, we kind of need to look back, right? If we look at the 90s and the early 2000s, you used to buy a product and it was yours to keep forever, right? You bought a version of Microsoft, for example, that would, you'd buy the disk, you'd plug it into your computer, or you'd insert it into your tray. You would download it and it was yours to keep as long as you wanted to keep it. But now, what we're seeing is with software companies and insurance companies and banks and music services and video services, is everybody has switched to this model. And the funny thing is that nobody really noticed it happen. Right? Nobody really noticed that shift from buy once and it's yours, move into now you have to pay us monthly. Now, a lot of these businesses, even your QuickBooks, your softwares that you're using in your business, these are things that, it's great. You can pay them monthly, which means that you're always paying it off, but it kind of means that you're locked in it forever. Especially software companies, what they've done is they've made it a system where you're dependent on that system and you have to pay for it every month to keep playing ball. Now, like I said, nobody noticed this. So we're all accustomed to already be paying things monthly. And we want to take advantage of that opportunity with our own clients and provide an extremely tailored and high value level of service in exchange for a monthly revenue income. And it's funny, we looked at some of the surveys that have been done with contractors who have adopted this system, and it turns out that about 60% of all people who offer some sort of subscription service in the contract and or home service space typically see around about a 20 to 30% increase in year over year revenue. So as you can see with those stats, if that was true for you, you could be increasing 20% to 30% of your revenue year over year by offering these additional maintenance services or additional monthly recurring revenue opportunities to your customers as well. So the way that it typically works right now for a lot of contractors is they live and they die on their project to project schedule. They're worried about money. They grab a project, they get paid, they pay off their debts. Then they go out and get another project. that those expenses rack up, they pay off their debts over and over and over again. They're kind of really just keeping the wolves at the door and stopping them from coming through. But those wolves are always sitting outside waiting for you. So we need to move away from that model. We need to move away from the way where we live and die by that project-based schedule and implement some more predictable ways that income streams are coming into our business to keep us afloat year round, especially in the slow season for more of those home service professionals who rely on the summer, making hay while the sun shines just from June through to September. It's safe to say that for contractors, the highs are high and the lows can be extremely brutal, especially on your cash flow. So let's break it apart. Let's look at some of the most profitable as well as the most common systems that contractors are implementing in their business to diversify their income stream. So let's look at a few different reasons why a contractor would want to look at that. Why would they want to implement a diversified income stream? Well, it's going to reduce independency or financial independency on one-off projects. It's going to smooth out your cash flow across the season or across the year so that you're maintaining a consistent income coming in, which means you get to keep your guys. You don't have to lay them off in the winter. It means that you can invest in your business in the slow season when you maybe don't have as much money coming in. It will actually increase the lifetime of a customer, meaning if their customer is buying from you, they're going to be buying from you for longer. And then as you're doing that, it's actually going to build long-term relationships with that client as well if you're always communicating with them about their big project needs or their project goals. So by implementing the strategies, you'll start running a business from job to job, and you will essentially move to more of a predictable income stream coming in every single month, year round. And I think we can all agree that that is a good thing for us. You might be thinking, well, why would a homeowner or why would my customer even agree to this? Why would they want this? Well, it's simple. Homes require maintenance. And if you don't take care of your house, things go sideways, things break, things fall apart. And homes are the biggest investment that anyone will ever make, or the average person will ever make, is their home. So you need to take care of it. Your customers know this. They're not dumb. They do know this. They know that they need to take care of their house. The part that holds them back from actually pulling the trigger on doing these bigger projects is because it's such a big cost up front to have that project done. And so if you reposition the way that you offer your services or the way that you offer additional services, and you can show your client that you're actually trying to help them out with that maintenance, then you could essentially be making that monthly recurring revenue, and the client gets the project that they want or the maintenance that they want without the burden of having that big lump sum. The service plan, which I'm going to get into, is one of the most impactful, both for you and for the customer, systems that you could adopt, right? And let me read some stats to you. On average, homeowners will spend between 1 to 4% of their home's value annually on maintenance and repairs. So that means that if you've got a $500,000 home, you could essentially be paying anywhere between $5,000 and $1,000 per year to maintain it or fix it. And that number actually goes up, or that percentage goes up, if it's an older home that your customer is living in. And that's due to things like aging systems, right? Your furnace, your HVAC system, your air conditioner, plumbing, electrical. These things wear out over time. They also become obsolete as well. Think of a homeowner who has a older home that maybe has aluminum wiring, and they need to upgrade that panel to make it compliant and safe and then also efficient. That client might not be able to fork over the money straight away for a $15,000 or $20,000 retrofit of new wiring in their house. But if you had a solution where they were paying into an electrician for a couple of years, then maybe they're at the point where they could pull the trigger and pay the other half up front, but they've been paying you off for a year or two in order to get that panel upgrade. So you want to position this as almost like insurance for your customer or an investment for your customer for their future or for the future health of their home. And if you can help a client to invest in themselves in their home, they're going to want to invest in you if you are a trusted contractor. Here's some of the most effective ways that you can implement this monthly recurring revenue system. Or here's a few examples, I should say. So maintenance and service contracts, and this is going to be absolutely ideal for people like HVAC owners, electrical, plumbing, painting, and even roofing contractors as well. But offering some sort of annual or quarterly checkup where you go and actually peek in on the house, you look at the roof, you make sure there's no loose tiles or something like that. You can charge for that every month, right? You could say, hey, you're $20 a month. We'll come by. We'll do an inspection once, twice, 3 times, 4 times a year. If there is any loose tile, we'll fix it. We'll make sure that your home's nice and healthy or your roof is nice and healthy. And here's another couple of examples as well. So a painting company that sells annual touch-ups, right? Like anybody with kids knows this, that kids like to draw on the wall and things are constantly getting bashed into the drywall. If you had some sort of annual payment plan where the customer is paying every single month and you show up once a year with their paint or their color of paint and you touch up the walls, that would be an awesome service that you could offer to those higher end clients who really want to make sure that their home is in pristine condition at all times. Another one would be with the washing clients. Now, people who do power washing, they've tapped into this on almost an industrial level that these services go hand in hand. But an example of that would be your Christmas light install. You're quiet in the winter, you've got the equipment to do the job, and you've got the people who aren't scared of heights and can probably, are competent enough to do the install. These ones go hand in hand. So if you're doing Christmas lights, right, especially if you're a retail as well to your customer, you're selling the Christmas lights, you're doing the install, and then you're doing the takedown. That monthly recurring revenue could be the storage and the maintenance of those lights, right? Things like changing light bulbs out and testing circuits and making sure that customer's lights are working year round so that they never have to worry about that. So that's one. So your annual or your quarterly contracts where you're showing up and you're doing a maintenance package. Next one is going to be priority memberships. So being first in line if something goes sideways, right? If you can get your customer to sign up for VIP access to you, that is worth a lot of money to you and a lot of value to the customer. If I'm a plumber and I'm charging, let's say it was 55, 60, 70 bucks a month to a customer, I'd be offering at least one, routine maintenance check. We'll come in, we'll test your taps, test your faucets, test your shower heads, we'll test your toilets. We'll look at all the seals, that kind of thing. And then also you're going to get VIP treatment if you give us a call. We'll be at your door within 24 hours. Well, that peace of mind is actually really valuable to a customer as well. So you could be charging a monthly for that plumbing package and, be maintaining relationships with your customers. That way, when they do have that big bathroom rental that they want to do, that plumber's first in line to get any of the plumbing work that comes up, or the kitchen, or the, side faucets or anything like that. Next one's going to be equipment leasing. And I'll tell you a quick story here because I do have a client who's an electrician, and he was finding that every time he called to rent a trencher, whenever he was laying the ground cables for a new built house or something like that, he couldn't get a hold of one in his timeline. He couldn't get one quickly. And so I asked him, I said, how many times do you need a trencher in a year? And he said, we probably need it somewhere between 20 and 30 times. And so we ran the numbers on this, and it turned out it was making absolutely no sense for him to keep renting this trencher when he could have it paid off in a couple of years by offering, for buying that trencher and then offering it out to other contractors or other electricians when he didn't need it. So offering things like, heavy equipment and plant, your hand tools or your electrical tools or whatever, these things are all very valuable to someone who doesn't have them and needs them for a project, right? Think about it yourself. You've taken years to acquire all these tools. There's somebody else who needs something that you have, but they don't have the budget to just go out and drop the money on it. So by aligning yourself with other contractors in your space or other contractors who might need the same equipment as you, you could, essentially become a tool rental business where you're renting out your equipment to other contractors and you're making money off of that as well. Now, they say that the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. There's your second for you. If you have plant and equipment and it's sitting gathering dust, well, just remember that every second and every minute and every hour that machine is not in operation, it's costing you money, right? Or it has cost you money on your P&L from when you purchased it. So yeah, reach out to your network, offer them your tools. If you're confident and you trust the people that you're giving it out to, there's no reason why you can't do that to make a little bit of of extra money. And that might just be the difference between you either one, buying a piece of equipment and using the money that you get from rentals to pay down the lease and you get to keep that machine. Or if you own the machine, well, then it's just additional income that's coming in that you can use to invest in your business. All right, next one, extended warranties and protection plans. And this is a great one, especially for roofers. You know, we all know that in the roofing industry, typically you're only going to get a 5-year warranty on a typical asphalt roof. Now, if the roofing company were really confident in their craftsmanship and they really stand behind the products that they used on their roof, well, maybe for an extra couple $100 or maybe $300 or $400, maybe they extend that warranty out by a couple of years. So additional warranty is a great one, especially on something like a roof or on siding or on plumbing or something like that people might want to invest in so that they can prolong the lifespan of their product in case something goes wrong. Okay, last one, subscription-based home improvement services. So this is going to be an ongoing upgrades program. This would be something like and just here's an example, perhaps that's a security company who installs CCTV cameras, or maybe that's a plumber, or maybe that's an electrician, or maybe it's someone who has annual upgrades are needed in certain areas. And let me use the CCTV guy as an example, because the CCTV guy could be offering, say, Ring doorbells. And for a monthly subscription, he could be saying, hey, listen, when that model goes obsolete, we'll come back every year and we'll put the new model in. Or maybe we'll upgrade the cameras every 3 years. Or maybe we'll bring in new technology like a smart thermostat or something like that. But having a smart home plan with your customer where you're always upgrading their house with the latest technology is a really good one as well, especially for people who always want to, the people who buy the new iPhone every single year, whether they need a new phone or not. This is a great thing to sell to them. So you're providing tons of value. You could even go as far as offering that upgrade plan to other industries as well. So if you've got commercial clients that you're working with, again, security systems or technology, that could be something that you're offering out commercially as well. All right, okay, so we want to ask ourselves, well, how do we actually sell these without getting too much pushback, right? So there's a kind of a little bit of a trick for you to do upsells or future upsells. And let me break down the difference between the two. An upsell to me is something that you can actually just upsell on site. It's not going to take you too much extra time, and you can get it done in the same day that you're doing the project. However, a future upsell is something that you're going to nurture the client into purchasing from you. And that would be, like I said, if it was the bathroom just now and it's going to be the basement renovation later, something like that could be a really good example of how you could plant the seed that you're going to come back in 2 months or 3 months, and you're going to have a conversation with that client. So we do need to put this more on a mid to long-term strategy rather than a short-term, because we do need to nurture that opportunity into an actual sale. So here's the first thing you're going to do. Number one, you're going to position it as more like insurance than it is a project, right? It's more like an investment in the peace of mind. So if you can get your clients to pay a little bit now, and it will save them a ton of expenses or a ton of hassle later, that's how you're going to explain it to your client. You're going to say, hey, this is just like insurance. This is going to be something that you invest in, and we're going to take care of your home later. Now, I'm hoping that you've built quite a bit of trust with your customer at this point, because hopefully they trust you enough that they're going to say, yeah, we'll pay you monthly, and we know you're going to show up in 6 months. But you need to position it as an investment or insurance, okay? Next one, bundle it with existing services. So those maintenance contracts could be the maintenance contract after you've finished a major build. Let's say for a general contractor or for someone who does a renovation, is the maintenance contract should come right after, where we're saying, well, hey, outside of your warranty, 6 months or 3 months or whatever, we will actually come into your home once every 3 months or once every 6 months or once every year. And we're going to take a look at that project that we did, and we're going to make sure that everything is still looking good and that you're happy with it. So bundle it with your existing services, and ideally the one that you just sold, if it's something that you can continue on that project or use to continue on that project, that's a really good opportunity for you. Another one is make it as easy as possible for the customer to say yes, right? You need to have all this hashed out in advance, but we also want to be able to offer the client options in case they've got any hesitations. So here's an example, like a payment plan, right? Or financing. There's financing companies out there that will sponsor your company and give you the option to put it on your estimate or your invoice for every customer that if they want to finance the remainder of their bill, or if they want to finance the next leg of their project, they can get it through financing. And similar to the revenue, the monthly revenue model that a lot of these banks and services are offering, like softwares, these financing offers have kind of crept in as well. If you look at any Shopify site, a lot of major retailers, they're offering 4 to 6 to 8 weeks or maybe 2 months of financing through a company called Affirm, right? You might have seen this on some of your favorite websites. I know for me, when I was looking at hunting gear last week, it can say, hey, listen, you'll pay $250 for that piece of hunting gear that you want right now, or you can pay it off in 3 months with this Affirm program. That might appeal to someone who's buying that gear and they want to get more, they just can't afford it right now. At least now they can roll it up and pay a monthly, and they're probably going to pull the trigger on the financing part if it's not, if it's outside of their budget. I did have this in my painting company as well, whereas at the bottom of every single estimate, there was an option to finance your painting job. It wasn't very common that we used it, but we definitely used it a couple of times. And the clients who did use it were very, very appreciative that that was even an option for them. So they didn't have to pay in one big lump sum. They could manage their cash flow, very similar to what we're trying to do here, with that monthly payment instead. So look at making it as easy as possible for your customer and make sure that they have as few barriers to pulling the trigger on this as possible. All right, next one, educate, don't sell. So use past case studies of how you've helped customers, but also go to people who you've already worked with, right? People who you've finished projects for and they already know, like, and trust you, and offer them the service first, right? Let them know that they're, it's a trial. You want to trial it out with them, see if they like it and get them to give you feedback. But, you want to incentivize that sign up a little bit in the beginning so that you start to get the ball rolling on how many you're stacking up. And I did hear a story recently about a plumber who is offering a $75 a month maintenance package where he goes in once a year, they do the whole inspection thing, and then they also get the VIP treatment if they call up and they need him in an emergency. And he's got so many, and I'm talking hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. I think it was something crazy like 600K in annual recurring contracts with his customers. And now most of his team, all they do is just do these home inspections, right? They're just going to a different property every day or every couple of days, maybe 2 or 3 a day. And they're checking out these people's bathrooms. And then they're coming back and saying, all right, that's you done. By the way, you need a new toilet. Yours is on its last legs. We can add one in for you for X amount of dollars, and just give a quote like they normally would. You want to try and incentivize the customer that this is that investment, but also give them a really, really easy entry into getting into that subscription service and try and provide value straight off the bat. So that's how you sell it without pushback. Now I want to tell you a little bit on how to actually implement these strategies, right? Because it's all good to talk about it and it sounds exciting. However, if we don't know how to actually put this into our business, then it doesn't serve us very well. So first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to identify which opportunities for MRR, monthly recurring revenue, that fit with your business model. So it's going to take about 20 minutes, half an hour for you to sit down and just jot down all of the opportunities that may exist from you, from service contracts to maintenance packages to inspection packages to equipment rentals and leases like we talked about. So you need to identify what's actually going to work for your business specifically. Next, you're going to want to price it, okay? And we need to understand how to price that. Now, again, it needs to make sense financially. It needs to make sense that you're covering the revenue or the labor that it's going to take for someone to physically go out and check that bathroom out. And then any admin costs associated with it as well, that will need to be covered under this too. So sit down and come up with some dynamic pricing or come up with some competitive pricing. Maybe do some research in your local area to see if anybody else is doing this as well and find out what they're charging for it. And then put your pricing structure together. Next one is going to be to create a simple contract. You need to come up with a contract that outlines the terms of this upsell or this revenue that you're going to be making each month that you can get the customer to sign. So if they sign up, it needs to have an includes and an excludes section. What does this include? What does this not include? What does it mean if the customer can't pay? What does it mean if their credit card bounces, right? Like, what are our policies that we're going to be using to actually implement this with our customer? Now, for me as a business coach, I live on a monthly recurring revenue schedule, and there's nothing worse than when a customer's credit card bounces. So we've got systems in place that will capture that and let the client know, get them to come back to us, give us a new credit card. It's important that you've got your contract in place, and then you've also got systems set up to deal with any of those issues that do arise with your monthly recurring revenue. Another one would be your cancellation policy. What does it mean, or what do we have to do as a customer to actually cancel that subscription with you? And that's totally up to them, right? If they want to cancel that subscription, totally fine, no problem. However, you do need to have that outlined in your contract, ready to go, so a customer knows what they're doing and what they're getting themselves into. All right, next one. Train your team to sell these for you, okay? Now, if I put myself into entrepreneur mode mindset and I say, hey, I'm not really designing this system so that you can physically go out and sell more of these packages, you need to get your team involved as well. And there's a couple of reasons why. One, your team are not looked at by the customer as the salesperson, as the person who's trying to get something from them, right? The sales guy, there's going to be sales hesitancy. That guy is going to try and sell me something. But with your team, if they've been out on a client's project at their home and they've been interacting with that customer, well, then what they've done is they've built good trust, right? So if you build good trust with the customer, by the time the job is done, there is no animosity when the team do say, hey, by the way, we actually offer a maintenance package on the roof that we just installed for you. Here's the cost and here's the price. If you'd be interested, all you have to do is, hit this link or tick this box and we'll get, the owner to give you a call back. Use your team to sell these packages for you, right? Again, it's upselling. It's something additionally that you can sell to boost your average job size. And that's what we want. We want less customers, more revenue. So train your team to actually sell these packages too. Give them all the tools that they need to build it out and sell it. And if you can, incentivize them with a bonus anytime they do actually sell that product for you. I'm telling you, you'll have salespeople out there in the field who aren't even salespeople who are selling stuff for you for your business, which is great. And that's exactly what we want to do. So get your team actually selling them. Let them know that they'll make a little kickback if they do upsell that product. And then that way everybody's invested in this and you're always making sales even when you physically are not there to sell it yourself. All right, last one, starting with your existing customers. So people you've already built trust with, right? We say there's 4 things that people need when it comes to a sale, and that's going to be budget, needs, timeline, and trust. And people buy from people that they know, people that they like, and people that they trust. So start with people that you've already built that trust with, who you've already done a good job for, and then offer them these services as a new product alert. This is also you getting some content out there with an email blast and using some of your touch points with the customer, to remind them of who you are. Hey, we've just launched a new product. We're now doing these monthly packages on the roof, on the house, on the siding, on the plumbing, on the electrical, whatever. If you'd like to sign up for it or you'd like to get in contact with us to discuss it more, here's our number, here's our email, whatever, right? So try and get in front of your existing customers already who already trust you. That way you're going to get to learn more about the model that you're selling and get feedback on it from people who you already know. But also you're going to be able to build up the numbers of people who are buying this contract from you, which means that when you go to your next new customer, you can say, well, actually, we have 50 people already on this system and they love it. Here's some case studies or here's some examples of how they've used this program in the past. So if you want financial stability in your business, you do need to diversify. You need to create more streams where people are paying you, okay? It's a no-brainer, guys. I mean, the only thing that really is going to be a pain point is actually coming up with what your system looks like. However, this is one of those systems that will give you, proactivity and predictability in your revenue streams when you can sell packages through the slow season that will keep giving you money in your bank account so that you can keep your guys busy, or keep them employed, or get new uniforms, or buy new market material, or even fund your market material. And it's not just about making more money. It is about building good relationships with your customers and having the opportunity to keep investing back in your business. That's the bottom line. That's what it comes down to. That's why we're really here. So if you're interested in looking at some of the different models that might work for you, and you want a sounding board that you can kind of throw your ideas at and get some feedback on, I would love to be that soundboard for you. If you're finding yourself like you've got a good idea and you just want to have a quick chat, even for 20 minutes, half an hour, I'm here for you. You can book me on my link on my website. It's www.wethebrave.ca, Charlie Alpha CA, and you can book with me direct in there. We'll have a quick chat. Throw me your ideas. I'll give you some feedback, and if it makes sense, we can keep the conversation going even after that. So hopefully you guys take this and you go light it up and make a bunch of money. And if you need help in the meantime, you know where I am. Until the next one, guys, go crush it. I know you got this, and spring is right around the corner. This is a great time to develop these programs. See you soon.